So, sino ho ba si Frederick Bastiat, no? Frederick Bastiat, born in June 30, 1801, and died in 1850. He's a French economist, best known for his journalistic writing in favor of free trade and economics of Adam Smith. During the revolutionary years of 1848 to 49, he wrote against the rise of socialism, which he identified with protectionism. It was primarily his campaign against socialism and communism that won him a seat in the Constituent Assembly in 1849 and in the subsequent Legislative Assembly of the same year. Economic theorist Joseph Schumpeter called Bastiat the most brilliant economic journalist who ever lived. Now, I would understand bakit nasabi yun, because if you read his writings, maiiksi pero siksik. And subukan ko hong ipakita yung ilan po sa atin. So he was also influenced by the Lacan understanding and thinking. But he just explained it in a such clear and noble way. Sabi rin niya, each of us has the natural right from God to defend his person, his liberty, and his property. So this book, no, if you have an access to this book, go get yourself. Meron na pong English translation. So he was talking about the law. What's the purpose of the law? The law is justice. In its proposition, a simple and enduring government can be conceived, and I defy anyone who say how even the thought of revolution, of insurrection, of the slightest uprising could arise against a government whose organized force was confined only to suppressing justice. He was saying here that the only purpose of the law is to suppress injustice. And what is injustice? It is the oppression of your individual rights. Yun ang purpose ng gobyerno, yun ang purpose ng batas. Ang batas is a force against injustice. Sabi niya. And kinuha ko po yung unang pasok po nung libro for us to read. Can we read together? 1, 2, 3. We hold from God the gift of which includes all others. This gift is life, physical, intellectual, and moral life. But life cannot maintain itself alone. The Creator of life has entrusted us with the responsibility of preserving, developing, and perfecting it. In order that we may accomplish this, He has provided us with a collection of marvelous faculties, and He has put us in the midst of a variety of natural resources. By the application of our faculties to these natural resources, we convert them into products and use them. The process is necessary in order that life may run its appointed course. Life, faculties, production, in other words, individuality, liberty, property. This is man. And in spite of the cunning and artful political leaders, these three gifts from God precede all human legislation and are superior to it. Life, liberty, and property do not exist because men have made laws. On the contrary, it was the fact that life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that caused men to make laws in the first place. Grabe, no? Ang iksi niya, pero ano na lahat? So from that short paragraph, sinabi niya, we hold from God the gift which includes all others, the gift of life, physical, intellectual, and moral life. So first, in-establish niya that life is from God. Second, life cannot maintain itself alone. Kung binigyan ka ng Diyos ng buhay, kinakailangan niyang isustain ang buhay mo. And in order for you to be sustained, the Creator of life has entrusted us with a responsibility of preserving, developing, and perfecting it. Now, the reason why I love this, because it shied away from what? From the concept of rights. It's now talking about responsibility. Responsibilidad mo na pakainin ang sarili mo. Responsibilidad mo na i-develop ang sarili mo. And it's your responsibility to become what God has called you to be. Kasi pagka rights, may rights ka, okay. But I'm not responsible to do anything. If I could destroy my life if I want, to all you care, di ba? This is my life. But he said, in order for you to achieve what God has called you, life cannot maintain itself alone. The Creator of life has entrusted us with the responsibility, number 3, by the application of these faculties, anong faculties? Yung isip natin, yung katawan natin, to these natural resources, we convert them into products and use them. Simple explanation. You have your faculties, you have your ideas, You have your strength, and what do? You begin to work for somebody else. Nagtrabaho ka, nagnegosyo ka. Then your labor becomes your property. Nakakita ka ng isang puno o ng log na nakatiwangwang, kinuha mo yung log, pinutol mo at ginawa mong isang bahay, yung bahay na yan sa'yo yan. Because your faculties combined with the natural resources created property. So the government now, the society would now recognize that and protect your right over that property. Life, faculties, production. In other words, individuality, liberty, property, this is man. Yan ka. Pag tinanggalan ka ng buhay, wala ka. Pag tinanggalan ka ng liberty, wala ka. Pag kinuha sa'yo ang mga i-entrust sa'yo ng Panginoon, paano ka mabubuhay? Paano mo magagawa ang layunin ng Diyos sa buhay mo? So that is man. So you could see that these three things are interconnected. They are woven in one neat bond. You cannot destroy one without destroying the other. Life, liberty, and property do not exist because man have made laws. On the contrary, it was the fact that life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that caused men to make laws in the first place. Hindi ko naman kailangan ng batas eh. Maliban na lamang, kailangan kong protektahan ng life, liberty, and property ko. So this is his explanation. Now, going to him again, what does Bastiat mean when he talks about the law? What then is law? It is the collective organization of the individual rights to lawful defense. Each of us has a natural right from God to defend his person, his liberty, and his property. These are the three basic requirements of life, and the preservation of any of them is completely dependent upon the preservation of the other two. For what are faculties but the extension of our individuality? And what is property but an extension of our faculties? If every person has the right to defend, even by force, his person, his life, his liberty, and his property, then it follows that a group of men have the right to organize and support a common force to protect these rights constantly. Thus, the principle of collective right, its reason for existing, its lawfulness is based on individual right. And the common force that protects this collective right cannot logically have any other purpose or any other mission than that for which it acts as a substitute. What does he say? The law is a collection of your individual rights as consenting together so that we could have a formidable force to protect our individual rights. Kaya nga, hindi mo ngayon pwedeng gamitin ang common force suddenly to destroy individual rights. Law as force for defense of individual rights. So, I just broke down no kanina. Law is the collective organization of individual right to lawful defense. These are the three basic requirements of life, and the preservation of any one of them is completely dependent upon the preservation of other two. Thus, the principle of collective right, its reason for existence, its lawfulness, is based on individual rights. And the common force that protects this collective right cannot logically have any other purpose or any other mission, that for which it acts as a substitute. So he also said in some of other portions, he also talked about the limitations on law and the limitations on the use of force. Sinabi niya, then, the common force for the same reason cannot lawfully be used to destroy the person, liberty, and property of individual or groups. Why? Because the reason why it's existing is because of the individual rights. And then, you cannot destroy the very reason that created you. Since no individual acting separately can lawfully use force to destroy the rights of others, does it not logically follow that the same principle also applies to the common force that is nothing more than the organized combination of individual forces? And finally, he said, if this is true, then nothing can be more evident than this. The law is the organization of the natural right of lawful defense. It is the substitution of a common force for individual force. And this common force is to do only what the individual force have a natural and lawful right to do, which is to protect persons, liberties, and properties, to maintain the right of each, and to cause justice to reign over us all. So he also said, doon sa kanyang libro, everyone wants to live at the expense of the state, but they forget that the state wants to live at the expense of everyone. Gusto natin lahat, nakaasa tayo sa gobyerno, ang mga tao, kuha sa gobyerno ng mga dole-outs, pero we fail to forget, hindi nga pala nagtatrabaho ang gobyerno. Ang trabaho ng gobyerno ay mamahala sa atin at kumuha ng komisyon sa ating mga kinikita. So kanino rin ho nakukuha yun? Sa atin din pala. He was explaining as if it's today. Government is the great fiction through which everybody endeavors to live at the expense of everybody else. And now he introduced this idea of legal plunder. Plunder daw means taking somebody else's possession by force. Sabi niya, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. Because legal plunder is something when the law is actually used to violate inalienable rights. Na yung inorganize mo na grupo para magprotekta ng individual rights, ay masyadong lumakas ang loob at sila na ngayon ang nagva-violate ng individual rights mo. Kuwari, pumunta ho kayo sa isang barangay, naka-member ka na isang barangay at sinabi ninyo sa community ninyo, merong nagnanakaw dito sa barangay natin, kumukuha ng mga manok, ng mga baka, ng mga itik. Gawin natin, total lahat tayo nawawalan, iano natin si paring Jose. O paring Jose, ikaw na ang magiging tagapagbantay natin. Sabi ni Jose, sandali, nag-iisa ako. Bigyan nyo naman ako ng mga kasama. O sige, lahat tayo, mag-contribute para hindi nawawala ang ating mga itik, ating mga manok, etc. Si paring Jose, sige, payag ako. I will now be ensuring that walang kukuha ng iyong mga properties. So binigyan nyo si paring Jose, binigyan nyo ng motor, binigyan nyo ng pangkape, binigyan nyo ng chaleco, binigyan niyo ng trapal. And si paring Jose, sinabi, kailangan ko ng dagdag pang mga ronda. So, nagdagdagan, o sige, o pangswelo, o sige, o basta ano yan And then, dumagdag yung pangronda, kailangan ko ng pangbatuta. O sige, okay naman. So, nung may batuta na lahat, sabi ni parang Jose, sandali, ang laki na ng grupo ko dito may batuta kami lahat, sila wala. Tayo nalang makuha ng itik dito. Wala namang makakaangal dyan. At sabihin natin, kukunin namin, at ibibigay na lang namin sa inyo kung anong nararapat. So, that is what Bastiat is saying. So he even said the kinds of legal plunder. It's forcibly taking one's property in favor of another. He said this, now legal plunder can be committed in an infinite number of ways. Thus, we have an infinite number of plans for organizing it. Tariffs, protection, benefits, subsidies, encouragements, progressive taxation, public schools, guaranteed jobs, guaranteed profits, minimum wage, the right to relief, a right to the tools of labor, free credit, and so on and so on. Lahat yan binasa natin. Sandali, lahat yan nasa batas namin Because it's a difference of understanding. And I'll tell you, I do not want to over-explain this because this will be part of part 4 and you have to be on part 4 when we talk about taxation, property, and welfare. Pero Bastiat also explained the theory of the unseen. Ibig sabihin, whenever somebody or the government takes something from you, or the organized group takes something from you, and they tell you, look, I took this from you, and we created something out of it. Sabi ni Bastiat, okay, that's good. Pero you are not computing the value well. Bakit? Because kung hindi mo kinuha sa akin yan, yung hindi mo nakikita na baka meron din akong nagawa dun sa kinuha mo sa akin, baka meron din akong papakita sa iyo, look what I did with the money that you did not take from me. The question now is not whether that resources that was taken from you, whether ito ba ay may napupuntahan o wala. The question now is, who has the better right of using or spending that thing or that money? Is it the one in government or is it the person who actually worked and earned it? Yun ang sinasabi niya. Sino ang merong mas karapatan? Hindi ko sinasabi na wag ho tayong magbayad ng buwis. Dapat ho, sinabi ho ng salita ng Diyos yan. But when it comes to become confiscatory and you now become shackled, then that is already an illegitimate exercise. And he now calls it false philanthropy. Ito, patindi to si Bastiat. He said, legal plunder has two roots. One, as we have just seen, is in human selfishness, and other is false philanthropy. If philanthropy is not voluntary, it destroys liberty and justice. The law can give nothing that is not first been taken from its owner. Anong false philanthropy? Pag-aaralin ko itong lahat, pero kukunin ko yan sa inyo naman. So it is impossible to introduce into society a greater change and a greater evil than this, the conversion of the law into an instrument of plunder. Alam niyo po, sa Pilipinas, we now have this income tax system, right? So income tax is a tax on the profit that you make, the income. Income is what all wealth that comes in. Kaya nga income, come in, right? Income. So in a specific time, in a taxable year, a wealth comes in. That wealth becomes an income because that wealth used to be not yours, pero kumita ka, so nagkaroon ka ng income. So that income now, the government now will take a cut because they are now protecting your right to receive your income. That's income tax, no? A kind of excise tax that protects your right to receive your income. So, kung ano may matitira sa iyo ngayon, now you will now be ready to spend your money. Yung natira. But when you spend your money, you're now hit with what? Consumption tax or what they call value-added tax. So yung income mo na na-tax na, gagastusin mo ngayon for the consumption, and they call it differently. They call it, no, this is a tax on the value that was added. Kaya value-added tax. Pero actually, it's consumption tax. Ibig sabihin, kung sino nagbabayad, sino bumibili, kahit hindi ka nagbayad ng income tax, babayad ka ng tax. So pag tiningnan mo po, kung ikaw ay nabawasan ng 30% in your income tax, and then plus 12% in the spending power of whatever is left, more or less, it's almost 50% ang natira sa'yo, pumunta sa gobyerno. You know what that means? In every 8 hours of work that you do, 4 hours you're working for the government. And that is what? Involuntary servitude sometimes, they would say. That's why taxes, ano yung involuntary servitude? Yun daw yung modern day na slavery, they say. Kaya ho, unang panahon, itinataas ang taxes, nakakapugudan ng ulo ng hari. But the justification again is the JJ principle. That's for the general will. And also, it's okay that we take this as long as we're putting it here and everybody look. Pero hindi nakita doon kung sino yung kumita, kung sino yung, diba, doon sa project, may 30% sa ganito, may 20% sa ganyan, because of that very same principle. Well, it's the system, and many of us is okay with it before we understand what these Christian philosophers have been saying. So try to imagine a regulation of labor imposed by force that is not a violation of liberty. A transfer of wealth imposed by force, that is not a violation of property. If you cannot reconcile these contradictions, then you must conclude that the law cannot organize labor and industry without organizing injustice. Kunin namin yung pera ninyo para invest namin sa ibang lugar. Teka, bakit? Sinasabi ko sa mga estudyante ko nga ito, alam nyo, class, sabi ko nga sa kanila, when I'm teaching constitutional law, say, politics and economy are two different things. What feeds you and your family is economy. And you are economy. Ikaw yun. Ilan sa inyo, and during the past month or week or even years, pumunta ka sa City Hall para pakainin mo yung anak mo? Wala. Pag wala kang makain, pupunta ka sa kapitbahay, pupunta ka sa pamilya at sa magulang mo. Because it's the role of what? Because it's man who produces. Man who innovates. Tao ang nag-iisip, tao ang gumagawa, tao ang nag-iimbento. Ang ginagawa ng gobyerno ay, it takes a cut. You now begin to expand the interpretation and understanding what the government is so that the government can now run your life, can even register your churches, and if you don't have the proper registration, di ka makapagkasal, and all of those things. Kung di ka pwedeng ganito, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yan, hindi mo pwedeng buksan yan, so on and so forth, with the idea that, well, it's the government. If the government says that, then it must be right and legitimate. The law has been used to destroy its own objective. It has been applied to annihilating a justice that was supposed to maintain, to limiting and destroying rights, which is the real purpose was to respect. The law has placed the collective force at the disposal of the unscrupulous who wish without risk to exploit the person's liberty and property of others. That's why kung kayo po, if you have plans to be in government, limit it. Make sure that your concept is limited government. In some parts of his book, he even said that the normal reaction of a group who was oppressed by the privileged few is for them to want to be in the same position of the privileged so that they can propagate the same injustice that they receive. Tama nga nan. Alam mo, talagang itong congressman namin, itong mayor namin, talagang napaka-corrupt, talagang ganito, ganyan. Pag ako naging mayor, kukunin ko lahat yan, pamimigay ko lahat yan sa tao. Ganon pa rin. Di ba po? So it really takes godly men and people who would really understand to restrain themselves. Kaya masaya ako sa trabaho ko dati sa gobyerno kasi pinuputol lang red tape, pinaputol lang excessive bureaucracy. And whenever I would, because I know these things already, but hindi ko naman mapaliwanag sa lahat na ganito ang sinabi ni Locke, ni Bastiat, ganyan to. But I'm happy because when you make things easier for people, people becomes freer to do what they want. So now, going to the last point. So what is now freedom? What is now independence? Is national freedom already freedom for individuals of our country? Can an independent and free state have unliberated enslaved citizens? What happens if the state that longed to be free from foreign powers like the Philippines becomes the new tyrant of the people? A nation is only as free as the individual freedom experienced by its people in their private lives. Sino nagbabayad ng amilyar sa lupa? Real property taxes? If you don't pay your real property taxes, what happens? Okay. So, sabi ko nga, sana merong, ang isang advocacy, tanggalin ang real property taxes. Okay ba yan? Meron yata mga mayor dito. Kung watakbo kayo, gawin nyo yan. Hindi, bawal nasa local government code. Sinabi, pwede mo baguhin natin.